Boom. We are live in the spiritual laws of marketing community or spiritual laws of marketing community for another interview. Today we got Osman. So Osman and I, we got on like a networking call. It was like maybe a month ago, just to learn more about each other and what we both have going on. And Osman, if you don't know, what we're going to be talking about in the interview is mindset, a mixture of behavioral science, religion, and energies. And if you don't know Osman, he's been a mindset coach and energy healer for about 16 years, and he worked with Big Four accounting for a Big Four accounting firm as a cyber. Jesus, I cannot.
That's okay, man. That's a lot at once.
I cannot speak. He worked with a Big Four accounting firm as a cybersecurity consultant, and we're going to be talking about how to become more present and grateful so that you can transform faster than anything else. Jesus, I cannot speak, man. Awesome. So I'm glad to have you. Our conversation was pretty short when we had done the networking call. But for the people who don't know you, how do you introduce yourself?
Well, I start with my name. I'm Osman, 33 years old, born and raised in Turkey, but I moved to Netherlands because of my father's job. At the age of, I was close to being 16. I met a lady online who said, "Hey, you're a healer." I was like, wait, my English is not strong. I don't know what it means. So she explained me the whole concept of what it means to be a healer. Some people have naturally God-given talent to help others, empaths, for example. But back then I had imposter syndrome, so I didn't go into full coaching and doing all the energy stuff. I pursued IT. I started with IT, networking, business consulting, IT and business consulting, and on my way up to cybersecurity consulting. But I never stopped helping people out on the side. It was like I had two full-time jobs. One was helping people with transforming their life, and the other one was 9 to 5 in the IT. And the reason I made that switch now to full-time being a coach is because I have this long-standing dream, which I want to make a reality, is building orphanages. As a cybersecurity consultant, you're getting good pay. But on the salary, it's difficult and very challenging to build an orphanages. And besides, it was getting boring for me to being in the same space. So that's why I jumped into this online space. And I have been doing that since 2020.
So what is the who do you help, and what is the big outcome that you help them get?
Great question. So in the 14 years that I have been active, I have helped various peoples, like housewives up to engineers, war veterans, to someone who's doing consulting or other therapist. What I help them with is whatever they're experiencing as a challenge. Some people have imposter syndrome. Some people are like, "Oh, I don't feel good enough," which results in they're not promoting themselves. They find excuses. They don't want to go live, or they don't want to share their story. So whatever is holding them back, I guide them back to whatever the block is in their mind. Like, to give you one example, to give you two extreme examples. One was a lady from Australia, she was doing good for her coaching. She was helping females with her money mindset. She came to me and said, "Osman, I never get past 7K. Whenever I do get past, another client leaves or some random bills come up." And she said, I had caring parents. I had everything I wanted. I was, in a good space. And when we went back into her memory to find out the block, for her, it was where her parents were arguing about money. And for whatever reason, she as a baby decided that it was because of her. So she never deserves to have more money and that she deserves to struggle. When we removed that, within a week, she made 2 more sales without doing anything. Just by
Wow.
shifting her mind and her energy, she just got 2 more sales.
Mhm.
So the other extreme example is the war veteran. He went, I don't know if, I think it was Afghanistan. He went 4 tours, 2 tours, something like, he forgot, but
Mhm.
I don't listen to it. So, but what the impactful part is, he got ambushed. His team got ambushed, and one of his teammates jumped on the grenade and instantly died there. And the other one were nonstop fighting. And for whatever reason, he was the sole survivor of that attack. For years, he blamed that
Mhm.
himself,
Mhm.
and he carried that emotional weight. So he had back issues, he had insomnia, night terrors, all that thing happening. And after one session, his insomnia was solved. He didn't have night terrors anymore because we showed him, hey, listen, your comrade there, your teammate, however you want to call it, he jumped so you can live your life, not to suffer through your life.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when we like released him from his own torture,
Mhm.
he was back to being a normal person.
Mhm.
And in the last 2 years, I focused helping entrepreneurs because I want to help them to transfer their life in
Mhm.
6 weeks. And I had about, let's say, 80% of success rate.
Mhm.
They all got over their fear of failure, got confidence. And I want to, like, for the people who are there listening, this might sound weird or
Airy,
unbelievable,
yeah, airy fairy, yeah.
but the results that I have, they're very tangible. Like I have testimonials up for the videos, and people who come to me on a discovery call, they're like, Osman, no fucking way you get the results that quickly.
Mhm.
And I got results that quickly for 80% of my clients. That's the reality that they're out there. I have one client that we're continuously working on the goal we had set. There are delays for various reasons. It's private still going, so I'm not going to share. But for the 80%, there is a huge transformation within the first 4 weeks. And one lady came on a call. She talked with another lady who's in the funnel business, and
Mhm.
she referred it to me. She comes on a call. She says, Osman, please don't be offended. Are those testimonials paid actors? I was like, no, I have their
Mhm.
Facebook. I have permission to guide, to send them to you. Like, she was surprised. So, but let's give people value. Enough about what I do. I want to
Mhm.
have people true information that they can use to
Mhm.
transform.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's important you tell people that so that they know why they should listen to you. Now I want to go back to the first example you gave me. So you said that you helped her get over that block, right? Now, when she went and got 2 sales, what exactly was she doing before that she started doing because you helped her get over the mindset block or the
So
energy block, whatever you call
great. Let's call it both, right?
it.
So she didn't change anything. So she was active on the social media. She had an email list. She was promoting her material. But um, when you're, let's say, when you're afraid
Mhm.
to put yourself out, the
Mhm.
words that you're going to use
Mhm.
are very careful.
Mhm.
What's a good example? Let's say, I guarantee I will transform you. I guarantee I will make you money in 90 days.
Mhm.
Coaches who are confident of
Mhm.
what they're offering,
Mhm.
they're going to bring that up front.
Mhm.
But coaches who are not that confident for
Mhm.
whatever reason, they're going to be like, we can help you to make money in 90 days.
Mhm.
Like the word, the phrasing, the energy behind it,
Mhm.
it's weaker. So when you do everything what you were doing, but you change the way you show up, it's going to have an impact.
Mhm.
So it's like removing when you're climbing up in the mountain and you have this unnecessary weight on you, I
Mm-hmm.
just take the weight
Mm-hmm.
off.
Mm-hmm.
If you're now giving fuck about what people say, what your classmates or what your neighbor is going to say about you doing Facebook Live, you're going to show up more careful. You're going to not polarize. You're going to not stand for what you are, what you believe. You're going to compromise. If your client is looking for a strong leader, but you appear to be someone who's compromising and
Mm-hmm.
who's like everyone else, they're not going to resonate or want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you do in your post, you're like, hey, this is me. This is what I stand for.
Mm-hmm.
If you like it, on board. If you're not, adios. No
Mm-hmm.
problem. People who are not ready to work with you
Mm-hmm.
or they get triggered, they're going to unfollow you,
Mm-hmm.
which is a blessing for you because you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that.
So the coaches who have that challenge, I'm like, hey, let's look at why that is. Like one example, a coach, another lady from USA, uh, her blog was when she was 4 years old. She asked, "Hey, mommy, can I have another cookie?" Her
Mm-hmm.
mom said no. This is
Mm-hmm.
what she. This is what the story is. But in hypnosis, we replayed the whole scene. Her mom says, "No, sweetheart, you already ate too much. You're gonna have tummy ache." But for whatever reason, her mind at that moment is like cut off at no. And then it reasoned, "Hey, I'm not worthy of anything good. I should suffer." So when we went back to that scene, reviewed, and we're like, hey, this is the meaning, let go. You can have whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
She started making more sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way she showed up, like, I believe most of your viewers, listeners, people you engage with, they have basic knowledge of outreach. They
Mm-hmm.
have basic knowledge of social
Mm-hmm.
media.
Mm-hmm.
They know a lot, but they're doing little.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason usually for that is fear of failure
Mm-hmm.
or social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have fear of failure, but you're not doing what you know you should be, then it might be fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like something in you is holding. If you're like Osman, and nothing is holding me back, dude, you're wrong. Then I'm gonna act like everyone who comes on a discovery call. I'm like, hey, listen, let's be very honest. Do you lack actionable steps, or you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it for whatever reason?
Mm-hmm.
And 90% of the time they're like, yeah, man, I went through a lot of other coaches, videos and ebooks and stuff like that. I just need to set myself straight. I hope this makes sense so far.
No, it makes a lot of sense. As I'm listening, I can already think back to all the kind of thought or all the unlearning I had to do. For me personally, when I first got started, I mean, about the courses, right? It's like at some point, there's no secret. It's just like, look, this is one way to get clients. This is one way to get clients. But I just wasn't doing it. It's like I had all the information, but I wasn't doing it because I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of um so I had social anxiety, and a lot of it will come from like my parents, for example, my mom more specifically, and so now I show up, like I'm consistent, I get on live videos, but like you meet me 5 years ago, that wasn't me. I was scared to just go up and talk to a girl. Just I was just scared of people, and just
Exactly.
and what you said was extremely powerful when I had asked you what exactly changed, and you said it was the way she was showing up, and it was the how she was speaking, and one coach may be like, oh, I can help you make more money, but another one's like, I can guarantee you. Like nowadays, I have that sort of confidence. I'm like, yo, your life is gonna change in 90 days if you do what I say, because I've just seen it so many times. And I'm just, it's within me. It's like I have confidence in my abilities, so it shows. And so, um, that's what I got from everything you just said. So when you start working with a client, right? If it's a 6 week program, what exactly? Actually, before I even continue, there's one thing I wanted to mention. when it comes to mindset, I want to hear your thoughts on this, but I always just tell myself, if someone else is doing it, I can do it, right? Or anytime I have some like thought, I just try and look at a place in the real world where that doesn't even like all right, so for example, let's say I think I'm ugly and I can't get a pretty girl. I remember my friends used to be like, look at Jay-Z and look at Beyonce. If you can't get a pretty girl because you're ugly, then he wouldn't be able to. So I always like to look at how real life situations where my thoughts aren't real, because that's a lot of what people are doing. They're creating these
Right.
realities that aren't like that don't actually exist. You know.
It's playing chess with your emotions, and you're always the loser.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like that.
the thing is that people, when I say mindset,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people have this a whole, not wholesome, but the idea that is pushed out by greater media, like, oh, you have to have a morning routine, you have to be vegan, you have to have all these different things for your mindset to work.
Mm-hmm.
And people like when you go to the supermarket, the premium products are always on the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
The B or house brands are on the lower,
Mm-hmm.
and like the less expensive products are on the top.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about social media, people are like Tony Robbins or this or that. They look at the top people who have decades and decades of experience.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that's gonna be me in 30 days. Fuck
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's go. We're gonna do this. And then they're like, after a day or two, crash.
Mm-hmm.
So for your audience, wherever you are, look at what you tried so far and what did not work. Write that down, because what you tried 5 years ago, like if we take you as example, what you tried
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago did not work, might work very effectively right now,
Mm-hmm.
because you are not the person you were 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So people come to me, hey, why does affirmation not work? What are you saying? They're like, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
make millions. Dude, what's the highest money you ever earned?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I got a holiday, whatever, bonus, 5K. Okay. You don't know how to handle 5K
Mm-hmm.
effectively. You want to become a millionaire. That triggers so many things within you. You're emotionally going to shut off,
Mm-hmm.
because your brain doesn't know. It cannot imagine you making $1 million and living in a nice house, because you have never sat down and pictured it. You always complain about, oh, I have to work, oh, I have to reach out, I have to promote myself nonstop to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
If you're struggling and you grab too high, it's not going to work. So for those people, I'm like, hey, listen, what you need is to make peace with yourself. Because when you accept where you are with all the flaws and the challenges, you have a solid foundation to build upon. If you don't accept yourself, anything you build upon is going to crush on in sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The imposter syndrome is going to come up. It's like, now you're making 10K a month. Osman, dude, you don't deserve it. You only deserve 5K. Because when you're making 10K, the old you is going to change. Like, let's take you as an example so people can relate to it, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a number per month that you take home would make you feel completely relaxed and just live your life. You're like, I do whatever I want, whenever I want, fuck the rest.
Mm-hmm.
What would that amount be?
50K. Let's say 50K for us.
Okay, like 50K, right? If we take the number 50K,
Mm-hmm.
and your conscience, like whatever you do, that money is going to come into your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
The current you is going to trip.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go on an emotional trip, because you're like, dude, but I am me who wakes up in the day and does these routine things.
Mm-hmm.
And out of these routine things, I get triggered or I enjoy them. the fuck am I going to do when I don't have to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
You have to make the identity shift for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So Desmond, who's making 50K a month, what's he gonna do? What's his morning routine gonna be like? What's his week gonna look like? When you give your brain the destination for the new identity,
Mm-hmm.
transformation is going to be quicker. Because if your mind doesn't know where you're going, it's gonna stop you or slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it to be your ally, you need to be like, hey, this is the direction we're going. Makes sense so far?
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense.
Like, I have one coach who was a
Mm-hmm.
business coach for agency owners. He was doing really well, but he lost the job before he was. I think he was a sales guy for what was it for shakes, like powders for fitness, and he became the number one in his area,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the profits. For some reason, from one day to another day, the company just rugged him under, and he was suddenly left with nothing. So now he was building a business, got to 30K, and he was really worried about two things. He knew he had a consistent system, but he was worried about two things. What if I lose it all? And what if I hire someone and I cannot provide for them?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're scaling and making more money, your worries are going to change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a different label to them, but the source is going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like his source was, I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most of my clients, whatever they're talking about, it comes back to, I am not enough. And like, if I came to you 5 years ago and I said, Desmond, you don't feel good enough, that's why you can't attract these sexy ladies, what would you
Mm-hmm.
say to me?
You're right.
Yeah, but at that moment, because I pointed that out, I would have triggered you so much that you
Mm-hmm.
would run away.
Mm-hmm.
I had to find a different label to level with you to say, okay, Osman can help me. Now, if I come to you and I said, Desmond, you don't feel good enough, that's why you're not making 50K, they're like, dude, what do you mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
appearing live and I'm doing all these things, I'm making money. What are you talking about? Does this resonate a bit?
Yeah.
So for the people, what I'm trying to get at, I'm sorry, maybe it's a bit confusing. What I'm
No,
trying to get at is
you're making sense. Yeah.
the people who are experiencing whatever they're experiencing right
Mm-hmm.
now, they should ask them. Simon Sinek has a method called 5 whys.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your issue is right now, ask that in a question form. Like, why am I not making 50K a
Mm-hmm.
month? And I made it a spin of my own version. So what I tell my client is take that one big thing, turn it into a why question, and you are to spend 5 minutes. Put any distraction away, just pen and paper. Whatever comes out in your brain or out of your mouth, it's going to go on paper.
Mm-hmm.
First 2 minutes, your brain is going to get fucking uncomfortable because it doesn't want to expose to you. It's going to bring up different distractions. It's like, hey, we need to send an email. Oh, wait, did I do? When you get past that uncomfortable, then you could come to the position of white lies.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is going to tell you lies that you can accept. But if you push through that, you're going to get to the raw answer. After 5 minutes, pick the one thing that resonates with you and hurts you the most.
Mm-hmm.
And turn that into a why question and repeat the whole process. Do this 5 times and you will find out what the true cause is. This is powerful if people really sit down and execute on this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, I really want to emphasize on how powerful this is. It's simple yet so effective,
Mm-hmm.
and it's self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be honest with yourself, and that's when you get the biggest results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my equity funnel partners. That's what I call my clients, and we were just talking about how one little tweak can change everything. So, there were some people that may have not responded to my old messaging or my old content, even though I was getting engagement. This new spiritual laws of marketing community, just a little tweak in the messaging, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing people who's never engaged with my content engage with my content. I'm attracting people I never attracted, getting customers I never got, all from just one little tweak. So, in the same token, when it comes to your mindset, like it's just those little tweaks that can change everything. So, everything you just kind of went through, is that like the process you take someone through for like 6 weeks when they're working with you?
Well, this is the process that I only take them through. If they're serious, I have a 30-minute discovery call. In
Mm,
the 30 minutes, I have an Excel sheet where we jolt down the numbers they're making.
mm,
Because my promise is, if they join my 6-week business incubator,
mm,
my promise is that they will make 20K
mm,
within 6 weeks. But I need to be sure that the person I have across me has some basic knowledge and has certain things in place.
mm,
So as a business, like as I said, I work in business consulting. So I take them. Used to work. So I have this Excel file, and we go down, and we really look at what their hourly rate comes out to. I had a person whose hourly rate was $12,
mm,
and she said to me, 12. Wait, my hourly rate comes down to $12. I said, yeah. She's like, I should go flip burgers because that's $15 an hour.
mm,
I said, maybe you should do that as part-time.
mm,
What most entrepreneurs don't realize is they have this big income goal for the month. Let's say 5K, 10K, 50K. But when you break down what your hourly rate is and how much time you're spending in
mm.
your business,
Yep.
you're going to see that you're spending way too much on your business, and the money that you're generating is actually not that much.
Mm,
And then if they're like, hey, Osman, it's amazing, but I cannot work with you because I
mm,
don't have the money or whatever, I give them three tools. One is 7-day journaling, where you just randomly throughout the day write your thoughts. The second one is the why question. And another one is an exercise to help you to uncover what you think should be answered to your problem.
mm,
But the 6-week process looks like this. It's 2 weeks an hour, 2 weeks a week. Sorry, 2 hours a week. That's 30 minutes. We're going to talk, do brain rewiring.
mm,
I'm going to specifically point out, hey, this is why your thinking is flawed. And then we're going to go into hypnosis, find out the core reason why that flaw exists. We change that. After the session, usually for some clients, it happens on the session.
mm,
Others happens with the next day or within a week. Their thinking suddenly changes.
mm,
Did I do anything different? Sometimes I give them hands-on advice on how they should do their business.
mm,
My clients usually make more money than I make,
mm,
which is funny. I'm a
mm,
mindset coach and I help people make more money, but
mm,
usually my clients make more money.
mm,
And I had this one guy, he was selling solar in US. And he said, all the people that I talk to, they're 50, they're 60, they're older than me.
mm,
And sometimes they mock me. They're like, hey, you're a Yankee, I'm not going to pay you anything. He said, how can I handle these people? I said, I want you to know how valuable you are to them because they showed up on the call. If they didn't take you serious, they would not show up. The fact that they show up means that they need your services. I said, I want you to reiterate that to them. But like, hey, Desmond, you're here because you need my help. And I want to help you, but we need to set some ground rules. I'm going to respect the work that you do, respect the age that you are, but I expect some respect here. And that the guy was really good at what he was doing. He was really generating revenue for other businesses. So I told him, look, when the client is across you and he's trying to mock you, tell him, look, listen, Desmond, I don't have time right now. If you're serious about you growing your business, let's do it. Otherwise, I'm going to make other people happy. And my time is for money. I don't know about yours, but I'm not here to dig around. He said, I used that phrase on the people. They turned around, paid in full immediately.
Wow.
So sometimes it's about these tactics that I give them, but it's based on the person. If they tell me, I give something specifically that works for them. So, I mean, you're good at what you do. You specifically, I think every coach or business person out there adapts their services to what their client needs to a degree.
Yeah.
Like that it's stupid simple. The way that I offer, you come on a call, we talk, you talk, I listen to your problem, we enter hypnosis, and after hypnosis, if you're like, hey, I need a bit of question and answer on this, I provide that. No videos, no homework, nothing.
So you said hypnosis?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that. I've talked to a hypnotist before. I work with a hypnotist too. But like, how do you use hypnosis in your, I guess, your marketing, I guess, or on your call? Where do you use hypnosis and how do you use it?
So I usually refrain from letting people know that it's hypnosis on the posts that I do. On the discovery call, so when people are like, hey, what is it that you do? I explain to them. The actual hypnosis happens through the 6 weeks that we're doing. And I have been doing this for 16 years, and I maybe did it 4 times face-to-face. Everything was on a computer. People are like, does this work over Zoom? I'm like, yeah, because that's what I have been doing always. And it's about relaxing you. Some people are like, oh, you're going to turn me into a turkey? You're going to make me send money over to you? Like, there are some bias towards hypnosis. The way that I do, it's like, hey, we're just going to get you relaxed. You will be fully in control. But the goal here is to put your critical self aside and to talk with your inner subconscious mind. That's the whole purpose. Like, we're geared to make sure that the critical thinking is set aside. When you set that aside, everything that happens in your mind can be created, reframed, destroyed in matters of minutes. That's really the hypnosis. You're just relaxing. I'm asking questions, and you allow your subconscious mind to bring up the answer. I don't know the answers. Like, first question I ask is, Desmond, allow your brilliant subconscious mind to bring us back to a vivid, vital, crucial scene that will allow you to have a prosperous and healthier tomorrow. I don't know you. I haven't analyzed or being, sneaking around to know the answer, but your subconscious mind has been with you since your birth. So it brings you a specific scene where you and I are like, that's totally unrelated, but hey, cool. We work on that scene. And suddenly next day or a couple days later, you're like, oh, I stopped worrying, or I stopped less overthinking. That's the power of the question. We don't know what you need to have a better tomorrow. Your mind does. So when we target and solve that problem there, it turns up in beautiful ways that I don't know how, you don't know. You only experienced it.
Well, I found that some of the best salespeople, a lot of what they do is they just ask questions. They don't really talk too much. All they're doing is asking questions, and the prospect is like almost just walking themselves into the sale. And I'm big on this idea of self-love, self-awareness, self-education, self-sufficiency, self-preservation, right? The self. I think a lot of people are always constantly looking for other people to be their saviors. And even though, obviously, you don't know what you don't know, it does help to get coaches, courses. But some people, like, I feel like they're constantly looking for something outside of them when really, like, the answers are within. Like, Alex Ramosi, for example, I recently learned that he didn't read all the sales books and the marketing books, but he was making a crap ton of money before he started to read the books, and he started to understand why he was making the money, but he didn't need all those books to make the money. Because like, how I interpret that is like the answers are all within. If you just like ask yourself the questions, I feel like we all kind of have, like, this is where we're going more to the spiritual realm, right? But I really do believe like we do know everything. Like I feel like nothing is new under the sun. Everything that
Yes.
ever was is going to be is. So I think like if we really just deep look down, we ask questions, we will find those answers for ourselves. And you just kind of that with a coach just kind of helps bring that out of you. A good coach will help bring that out of you instead of like telling you like, hey, this is what you need to do. It's like, let me ask them questions to let them answer what they need to do. So that's what I got out of what you just said. Now, so you talk about energy healing. What is the difference between that and mindset? Like, what exactly is energy healing?
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So maybe, are you familiar with the show Dragon Ball Z?
Yes, yes.
So when I was 16, I was watching an episode. It was summer. All my friends were on holiday. I was alone. So there was this episode teaching Goku was teaching others on how to manipulate and use the energy. So I was like, that's interesting. I want that too. So I went up, was Googling, came on to a spiritual website, and that's where I met my mentor. I entered this random chat room, I don't know, and she just like DM me, boom, hey, you're this. I'm like, fuck, are you like trying to scam me? So what I then did was I looked for scientific results that would back up this story. There is this.
Wait. How old were you at this time?
16.
16. Okay.
So when I was 16, I started to look into human behavior, psychology, chemistry, physics. Did I understand a lot? No. I was just trying to piece the puzzles together. And one of the things that everyone is saying is that energy can nor be destroyed nor not be created. So everything, like you said, everything that is already around. We just need to tune in and take what we want. And the second question I asked is like, hey, why do people behave the way they behave? So I set out on that journey, and what I learned is that our thoughts, they affect everything around us. And a tangible something is we have filters. When we put out the intention, hey, I want to buy a black Audi A4, your mind is suddenly going to see that in the street. It's going to see these ads, but they were always there. Your filter is now changed to it. When our emotions affect other people, are like, how do I affect? Well, it's like, Desmond, I love you, man. I love you. Versus, hey, man, I like you. Really cool. Which one was better?
The first one.
See, our emotions, the way that we have our face, it's like, yeah, today's weather is going to be 29 degrees, then it's yeah. Versus, hey, today's going to be sunny. Go out, have your ice cream, make fun. Our tonality, the words that we speak carry energy, frequency. People who don't know this, people like, my words are not energy. Dude, whatever you're saying comes out vibration. Energy is vibration. You know the famous research done by this Japan, I forget what the names were, but he spoke to water. He says, I love you. And he had these all different labels, and he measured what the effect was on the water. The water with I love you had a perfect structure. The water which had like bad labels on it, they had deformed structure.
Mm.
So if you drink water who had like bad words on it, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
affect you, because scientifically proven that the structure of the water is different. But here comes the good part. If you don't love yourself and you're like, I love myself,
Mm.
it's going to trigger you and it's going to have a reaction you don't want. So when the energy part comes in here, is, are you familiar with mysticism, Kabbalah, and all that?
No, I'll have to do more research on that.
I If you don't have a teacher, I suggest you stay away from it
Oh,
and
okay.
learn to master yourself first.
Mm.
Um, in the energy world, there's a lot of tricking. I was listening to this beautiful person and he says, "Let me give you an example. If you have never seen a cup in your life,
Mm.
and he says, let me grab the mouse. He says, energetically, I give you this, and I say this is a cup, but you are energetically blind and uneducated, so you will take this and assume that this is a cup.
Mm.
I have successfully fooled you,
Mm.
and you now think that this is a cup. You're misguided, miseducated.
Mm.
But when you know yourself, it's easier to see that this is not a cup.
Mm.
And people don't find that exciting, because when you start to learn yourself, focus inward, the first thing that come up are the things that you have been suppressing throughout the years.
Mm.
It's not a fun ride, but when you do, you're going to have it. So let me relate this back to energy, how practical people can use this. Smiling is going to brighten up your energy. If you feel depressed, do like your arms up and laugh.
Mm.
You're unable to feel bad. It's just you can't smile and cry or scream.
Mm.
It's the physics that help you to change.
Yeah.
And for those who question the power of energy, there was a neuroscience test that the body reacts way faster
Mm.
than it should be. Their reasoning was like, everything we do comes from the brain and is sent to the body. But the pathway, let's say, should be taking 2 milliseconds. The body is reacting under 1 millisecond. They're like, how is this possible? One theory that they had was like, hey, there might be quantum leaps, quantum holes that are sending signal from here to here, react at that speed. Because as I said, if we follow the cable, your reaction time shouldn't be that long. Like, it
Mm.
should be long. Why is it practically seen that if I smile, the person across me, even if they're angry, start to loosen up usually?
Mm.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mm.
Your default mode, if that's the depressed, then you're gonna show up depressed, even if you pretend people can feel it by the way you use your tone, by the way you use your words.
Mm.
Like the example that I gave, oh, we're gonna make you money in 90 days versus, bitch, if you believe yourself, I'm gonna
Mm.
make you
Mm.
money in 90 days. Like,
Mm.
the energy, the vibration, the words are really affecting us at all levels. So how I started my business in the 6 weeks,
Mm.
when I'm listening to my client, I ask specific questions, and then I listen to how they're answering me.
Mm.
If they're answering it from the victim, like, it runs in the family, man. Everybody's like this. I don't know. I'm just moving along.
Mm.
This is a person who is defeated. This is a person who like, Osman, save me. You're my savior. Versus a person who's like, dude, you know, my uncle has it, my dad has it, my grandpa had it, but I would really want to get rid of it. What can you show? Can you show me the way to get rid of it? That mentality shift, the way that they look at themselves, is going to have a huge impact on their transformation. And again, to emphasize, people who don't believe in energy, there are scientific journals, professors who believe they might not believe in God, but they believe that there is something that is affecting us, that planets are affecting us. The moon has effect on the female body. You might not believe in astrology, but the moon does affect the moods of females. When you look at this is old knowledge that we're not using. Like maybe 100 years ago, they would harvest at certain period. They would plant the seeds at certain period. All these things, they were done for. You could be on the outside. You could be saying, yeah, you know, because the weather is going to warm, that's why we're planting. But why are they not planting a month later or a month earlier? The more you go into this rabbit hole, the more things link up and make sense. But if you go into this journey without a guide or without knowing yourself, you're going to be very easily fooled, tricked, and misguided. So this is an interesting topic, and I can nonstop talk about it. I want to have something that I can relate to people and track them along with me.
Right. What I would take from it is, for example, let's say on the topic of energy. So I noticed, like, you know, for example, Russell, you know Russell Brunson, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Russell Brunson, if you ever watch his videos, you know, he's super high energy, right? Because he's a marketer. He understands people, right? He's high energy because he understands if he's high energy, that's going to get you excited and that's going to cause movement, right? All a campaign is, whether it's like, you know, Martin Luther King and, you know, him trying to, what's the term?
Uplift, maybe?
No, it's he didn't free the slaves. I mean, we weren't slaves at that time. He was trying to end discrimination. What did Martin Luther King do? It's like I don't know.
Cause a movement for freedom.
Cause a movement. Exactly. Okay, yeah, sure. Cause a movement for freedom, whether it's Martin Luther King, whether it's, you know, even on the way far, you know, bad side like a Hitler or an internet marketer. All you're trying to do with a campaign is cause movement, right? And so, what is movement, right? It's energy. So, how you come across over video, audio, or written word, that's how you get people to move, right? And, you know, like you said, if you're on video, if you're high energy, it's going to be a lot different than when you're all talking like this, right? If you're writing copy using templates, like it's not going to come across the same way as if you're talking like yourself, you're cussing. Like, for example, there's a guy named John Vaughn. He has he has a software company called Tier 5. And I mean, he says the craziest stuff. Like, he says the wildest things on Facebook, but I've been his customer. I know people are his customer. He's just himself. You can just tell he's authentic and you feel him through just his copy. So that's how I would say you can use energy. And I mean, you give great explanations. You know, use real life examples and whatnot. So the point definitely came across. Now, are you religious?
I am.
Okay, because I know I always say like I'm not religious. I'm more spiritual. But I want to know like whether you're religious and like what your thoughts are on religion versus spirituality.
Definitely. The thing is that when I was 16 and did all this research, I was misguided, tricked, because, like I said, I was egotistical in the sense I can do it all, I can figure it all out. But you have to understand that They're having people far longer in the game than you are. I'm a Muslim, and according you call it the devil, we call it the jinn, right? They have a longer lifespan. Imagine you believe that you're the smartest person on the planet. Your lifespan is going to be 100. A jinn's lifespan is at least 5 to 1,000 years. So if you think you can out-trick someone who has at least double or triple the experience that you have, who are you fooling?
Yourself.
So when I was reading into mysticism, Kabbalah, all that stuff, I was like, does God really exist? Because there is a lot of injustice going on in the world. So I start researching all the different faiths back to Babylonian time, and then from there back. And what I saw is that, like, you got the creation epic, you got the aliens, you got the Egypt gods, you got the Greek gods, the Hindu gods. And when I looked at those gods, they always all had human elements to them. They were fighting against each other, constant struggle. And what's funny to me is that all these gods are now suddenly not impactful anymore. Where are they? If they're truly a god, like you have to make up the definition of God for yourself. So for me, God is omnipresent and always ongoing. If he truly has created everything, then he should be truly present all the time. If he dies while humans continue, then I don't see that as a God. Maybe that person created us, but he's not a God. He had more knowledge than we do. It's like us going to Africa and showing them the movies on a tablet, and they go like, oh my God, that's demon, kill him. Like, I don't mean disrespect, but the knowledge difference, the gap, if they created us and they're extinct, they're not gods to me. Then I went to Hindus, and I was like, listen, guys, I asked this to understand. I said, the gods in your world are idols. They're like, yeah, but how come that you have idols who came later, but they're stronger and higher on the hierarchy? And they said, you can create your own idol, and if you get people to pray, and the more people you get to pray to that idol, it can go up. So I said, please don't, I'm not disrespectful, I'm just curious. If I promote an idol god that I created, and I run YouTube, Facebook, Instagram advertising campaign, just like political campaign, and I got people to pray for that, and I got 1 million people to follow that, is that acceptable? She's like, yeah, that's how the religion started. So that to me did not sit well, because you create something and whatever you create, you give power to affect you back. That to me is not a God, because when you die, that what you created might be, other people might prey on it, but it stops. That to me didn't look like the ultimate God, so to say. And still there were hierarchies and human elements that were going on. So that to me did not feel God. So, but I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to offend anyone. Do your own research and make sure what the definition of God is for you. So what's the difference between religion and spirituality? Spirituality is where you're like, hey, I'm everybody's person. I like this, I do this way. But if you believe in religion, and religion tells you to do certain things and to do not certain things, usually our first human reaction is like, is this going to benefit me in a way that I wanted? If not, I'm going to be upset about it. I'm going to stay away from it. Like, when you don't know why God put that rule in there, your ego, yourself, is going to be tripping. But when you calm and get over that shit, and you look at the reasoning behind it, you can see it. And if you can't see it because you're young, when you're 40 or 60, you look at the same rule and you go like, now I understand. I think that's the difference. Spirituality is you're everybody, man. And when you're religious, you pray to one thing and follow that path.
Mm-hmm. So
How about you?
I'm spiritual, and I'm kind of leaning more towards Christianity in conversations with people, because that is originally what I was at first. I do believe, like, over time Christianity has kind of been um ruined by humans. It's like all these different, I believe there's one Christianity, and then over time humans just kind of start to take apart and change it up. And so but I find myself leaning more toward that. I don't, did you mention which religion you were?
I'm Muslim.
Oh, okay, Muslim. Okay, awesome. So this has been a good conversation, just on time. This has been about an hour. Do you have, so if people want to, work with you, where do they go?
Um, that's a great question. So I'm mostly active on Facebook.
Okay.
It's facebook.com/BML Osman, my first name. That will bring them straight to my profile. I have a website which is beyond seven figures mindset.com. That's where they can find all the testimonials. But I think the most easiest is facebook.com/BML Osman.
Mhm.
That will bring them.
Awesome. So I'm glad we got connected a few months ago. I'm glad we got to have this conversation. Um,
Likewise.
Thank you. And then, we'll stay in touch. You guys heard them. You know where to find them. And if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Facebook, comment below. We'll get back to you. And with that being said, that's been another successful interview, and we will catch you guys later. Peace.
Later, everyone.